The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Watch with me, angels, watch with me today. Watch with me today. Let all God's holy thoughts surround me and be still within me while heaven's Son is born. Let earthly sounds be quiet and the sights to which I am accustomed disappear. Let Christ be welcome where he is at home, where he is at home. And let him hear the sounds he understands and see but sights that show his Father's love. Let him no longer be a stranger here, for he is born again in me today. The Christ is born again in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Your Son is welcome, Father. He has come to save me from the evil self I made. He is the self that you have given me. He is but what He is but what I really am in truth. He is what I really am in truth. He, the Son you love above all things. He is myself as you created me. It is not Christ that can be crucified. Safe in your arms, let me receive your Son. It is not Christ that can be crucified. Safe in your arms, let me receive your Son. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Well, thank you all so much for joining me here on my place. I'm sitting on the banks of St. Diane's Creek, where I sprinkled the ashes of my wife, the mother of my children, or 6 of my children anyway. I've got one adopted daughter too. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me here on St. Diane's Creek. Now, I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks. And this is lesson 303 for Thursday, October the 30th of 2025. And we're reading from the Foundation for Inner Peace version. You'll find that the titles are about the same. The paragraph changes are similar in both books this time. So the associated reading for our lesson 303, The Holy Christ is Born in Me Today, is back a couple pages. What is the second coming? And before we read that, let me just remind you to be sure to do a quiet time in the morning and again in the evening. Really important that you start your day off and finish your day off by sitting quietly with God. And then every hour of the day, have a little mini quiet time for just a moment. Tell yourself the lesson, the Holy Christ is born in me today. and then have a moment of silence. Make sure you're at peace. Find something to give God thanks for. Ask Him for direction, and be about your Father's business. What is the second coming? Christ's second coming, which is sure as God, is merely the correction of mistakes and the return of sanity. It is a part of the condition that restores the never lost and reestablishes what is forever and forever true. It is the invitation to God's Word to take illusion's place, the willingness to let forgiveness rest upon all things, without exception and without reserve. It is the all-inclusive nature of Christ's second coming that permits it to embrace the world and hold you safe within its gentle advent, which encompasses all living things with you. There is no end to the release the second coming brings, as God's creation must be limitless. Forgiveness lights the second coming's way, because it shines on everything as one at one-ment. Thus is oneness recognized at last. Forgiveness lights the second coming's way, because it shines on everything as one, and thus is oneness recognized at last. I think the original edition says every one as one instead of everything as one. But remember, all creation is God's firstborn Son. The second coming ends the lessons that the Holy Spirit teaches, making way for the last judgment, in which learning ends in one last summary that will extend beyond itself and reaches up to God. The second coming is the time in which all minds are given to the hands of Christ, to be restored to spirit in the name of true creation and the will of God. The second coming is the one event in time which time itself cannot affect, for everyone who ever came to die or yet will come, or who is present now, is equally released from what he made. In this equality is Christ restored as one identity, in which the sons of God acknowledge that they all are one. And God the Father smiles upon His Son, His one creation and His only joy. Pray that the second coming will be soon, but do not rest with that. It needs your eyes and ears and hands and feet. It needs your voice, and most of all, it needs your willingness. Let us rejoice that we can do God's will and join together in its holy light. Behold, the Son of God is one in us, and we can reach our Father's love through Him. And out of our Manual for Teachers reading today, we're ready for number 8. It should be the same in the original edition as the Foundation for Inner Peace version. And it's, how can perception of order of difficulties be avoided? Okay, so, and be sure to keep in mind today, I'll say it again, the Holy Christ is born in me today. And that happens as you just apply forgiveness to every situation that brought you some kind of discomfort or upset or irritation, anger. Any of those negative feelings can all be corrected with the practice of forgiveness. You'll know you've practiced it properly when you're at peace. Okay, how can perception of order of difficulties be avoided? The belief in order of difficulties is the basis for the world's perception. It rests on differences, on uneven background and shifting foreground, on unequal heights and diverse sizes, on varying degrees of darkness and light, and thousands of contrasts in which each thing seen competes with every other in order to be recognized. A larger object overshadows a smaller one. A brighter thing draws the attention from another with less intensity of appeal. And a more threatening idea, or one conceived of as more desirable by the world's standards, completely upsets the mental balance. What the body's eyes behold is only conflict. Look not to them for peace and understanding. Don't look to your body's eyes. It only sees conflict. We need to be able to, I'll give you an example here in a minute. Illusions are always illusions of differences. How could it be otherwise? By definition, an illusion is an attempt to make something real that is regarded as of major importance, but is recognized as being untrue. The mind, therefore, seeks to make it true out of its intensity of desire to have it for itself. Illusions are travesties of creation. Attempts to bring truth to lies. Illusions are travesties of creation. Attempts to bring truth to lies. Finding truth unacceptable, the mind revolts against truth and gives itself an illusion of victory. Finding health a burden, it retreats into feverish dreams. And in these dreams, the mind is separate, different from other minds, with different interests of its own, and able to gratify its needs at the expense of others. Paragraph 3. Where do all these differences come from? Certainly they seem to be in the world outside. Yet it is surely the mind that judges what the eyes behold. Remember, you might see something outside yourself, but it's your mind that puts it together and gives it meaning. It is the mind that interprets the eye's messages and gives them meaning. And this meaning does not exist in the world outside at all. What is seen as, in quotes, reality is simply what the mind prefers. Its hierarchy of values is projected outward, and it sends the body's eyes to find it. The body's eyes will never see except through differences. Yet it is not the messages they bring on which perception rests. Yet it is not the messages they bring on which perception rests. Only the mind evaluates their messages, and so only the mind is responsible for seeing. It alone decides whether what is seen is real or illusory, desirable or undesirable, pleasurable or painful. And what I was going to tell you earlier is the other day I lit the wood stove, got a little chilly last night, and I was sitting in the living room and I heard a sound that sounded like the toilet was running. That it, sometimes it gets in that place where the handle doesn't lift back up and it runs. And so that kind of, annoying. Something to practice forgiveness for. Also something to get up and turn off jiggle the handle. So I'd listened to this thing and it was going on and on and on for a long time. I finally, I told Jessica, I said, I think that the toilet bowl's running. And she goes, no, I think that's the wood stove you're hearing. And it was the constant hum of the wind coming through the damper of the wood stove. And all of a sudden, I was peaceful again. Not because anything changed in the outer world, but my perception changed. I thought I was going to have to get up and go jiggle the handle of the toilet bowl to quit wasting water. Instead, it turned out that it was that sound I really liked, the sound of a wood stove and pulling air in. But I was given that because it really doesn't matter what you hear or see. It's the interpretation that you give it that's going to bring you peace or happiness. I didn't have to really, I was practicing forgiveness as I was listening to what I thought was the toilet bowl. And I was saying, I don't need to be irritated. I just need to get up and go turn it off. And so before I actually got up, I mentioned it and found out, oh, that's the wood stove. Well, I didn't have to get up at all. And I was totally peaceful because I like the sound of the wood stove. I don't like the waste of water and electricity from the pump. Anyway, I'm just trying to use something as an example to show you how it's sometimes I eat organic. I eat most all my food's organic. Not always, but most of it. And the other day I was eating some grapes that I knew were organic, and they tasted so good, and I thought how energetic and how life-giving they are for me because they're organic. And then I thought, if those same grapes, same taste, but weren't organic, they wouldn't have near the good health benefit to me just because I believed they were organic. So, I found out later that they were organic. But if they had not been organic, just thinking they were organic would have been more healthy than eating them knowing that they had fungicides sprayed on them that were not good for the human body, or insecticides. Anyway, so I'm just, it's the way you interpret things, the way you see things is what's gonna give you peace of mind. And of course, we want to start learning that whatever we give to anyone, we're giving to ourselves. And so we want to make sure that we give everyone the gift of peace. Paragraph 4. It is in the sorting out and categorizing activities of the mind that errors in perception enter, and it is here correction must be made. The mind classifies what the body's eyes bring to it according to its perceived values, judging where each sense datum fits best. What basis could be faultier than this? Unrecognized by itself, it has itself asked to be given what will fit into these categories, and having done so, it concludes that the categories must be true. On this the judgment of all differences rests, because it is on this that judgment of the world depends. Can this confused and senseless reasoning be depended on for anything? Paragraph 5 in the Manual for Teachers. I did say it was number 8. How can perception of order of difficulties be avoided? So paragraph 5. There can be no order of difficulty in healing merely because all sickness is illusion. All sickness is illusion. It is harder to dispel the belief of, is it harder to dispel the belief of the insane in a larger hallucination as opposed to a smaller one? Will he agree more quickly to the unreality of a louder voice he hears than to that of a softer one? Will he dismiss more easily a whispered demand to kill than a shout? And do the number of pitchforks the devils he sees carrying affect their credibility in his perception? His mind has categorized them as real, and so they are all real to him. When he realizes they are all illusions, they will disappear. And so it is with healing. The properties of illusions which seem to make them different are really irrelevant, for their properties are as illusory as they are. And the last paragraph of this section, 6. The body's eyes will continue to see differences, but the mind that has let itself be healed will no longer acknowledge the differences. There will be those who seem to be sicker than others, and the body's eyes will report their changed appearances as before. But the healed mind will put them all in one category. They are all unreal. They are unreal. This is the gift of its teacher. The understanding that only two categories are meaningful in sorting out the messages the mind receives from what appears to be the outside world. And what are those two? Either it's real or unreal. It's true or it's an illusion. And you can look at your happiness to decide which one you're holding on to. And of these two, but one is real. Back up. This is the gift of its teacher, the Holy Spirit. The understanding that only two categories are meaningful in sorting out the messages the mind receives from what appears to be the outside world. And of these two, but one is real. Just as reality is wholly real, apart from size and shape and time and place, for differences cannot exist within it, So too are illusions without distinctions. The one answer to sickness of any kind is healing. And the one answer to all illusions is truth. Wow, the one answer to all sickness is healing, and the one answer to all illusions is truth. Let truth be true. Okay, let's see. What's going on around the world? For the Sikhs, it's the observance of the martyrdom of Guru Arjan Dev Sahib. And then out of holidays and observances, buy a donut day. I wouldn't recommend buying donuts. Not much nutrients and a whole lot of calories. And matter of fact, it's also Sugar Addiction Awareness Day. You know, if you find yourself gravitating to a lot of things that are just sugary and sweet, you could have a sugar addiction. And I understand that the molecular structure of sugar and cocaine are almost identical. And it's likely the reason why you can be addicted to sugar. So, you know, you may want to take 30 days and no sugar at all. Maybe not even fruit sugar for a while. You know, fructose. Okay, anyway, checklist day, create a great funeral day. I guess write it down what you want done at your funeral, I guess, huh? So some people will be able to honor you. Devil's Night, it's the night before Halloween. Haunted Refrigerator Night. Mischief Night. I guess all those kind of the same, aren't they? Candy Corn Day. Publicist Day. And I would like for all the people that are getting something out of this 30 minutes together or less, share it with others. So, you know, we probably need to get a little bigger following. If I'm going to do this anyway, might as well get plenty of people and let them tell people. And right now is a good time to get people listening. They can, you know, pick one of the questions in the manual for teachers and that you think that one of your friends might like to hear. I particularly like, is reincarnation so? You could take last year's. I haven't done this year's yet, but you could take 2024's is reincarnation so, and send that link to somebody and say, hey, if you would like to listen in to Willie share A Course in Miracles, here's what we do. And they'll get through the book in a year and actually get through it in a way that they'll be useful if they do the meditations. Text Your Ex Day, Pumpkin Bread Day, Speak Up for Service Day, and World Audio Drama Day. And then out of Johnny Selected Seeds, we've got another Swiss chard, and this is the red chard. And it says of the red, ruby red or rhubarb chard, 32 days to a baby and 59 days to bunching. Standard red chard for bunching or baby leaf. Candy apple red stems and bronze to dark green and red veined leaves. Moderate bolt tolerance. Note, young ruby red plants may go to seed if exposed to sustained night temperatures in the low 50s. Time sowing to avoid these conditions. And it also says here about in days to maturity. Did we read? I don't think we read that. From direct seeding. 5 to 14 days. They all have their own days to maturity. You can have them as babies in about half the time, about 30 days or 60 days for full grown. Average direct seeding rate, bunching 1 ounce for 300 feet, or, you know, there's a lot of good information down here on about growing Swiss chard. I'll just leave it and let you guys look at it if you'd like to yourselves. I would encourage you to use this Johnny Selected Seeds. Let's see, and our word for peace, we're going to take it from the Old High German, and it's Fridi. It was spoken in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria until about the latter part of the 11th century. And they're on the Rhine and the Danube and its tributaries. You know, the Rhine and the Danube flows through Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Okay, well, let's close with our song. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Watch with me, angels, watch with me. Watch with me, angels, watch with me today. Let all God's holy thoughts surround me, and be still with me while heaven's Son is born. Let earthly sounds be quiet, and the sights to which I am accustomed disappear. Let Christ be welcomed where he is at home. Where he is at home, and let him hear the sounds he understands, and sees but sights that shows his Father's love. Let him no longer be a stranger here, for he is born again in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Your Son is welcome, Father, your Son is welcome. Welcome, Father. He has come to save me from the evil self I made, that I made. He is the self that you have given me. He is but what I really am in truth. He is the Son you love above all things. He is the Son you love above all things. He is myself as you created me. He is myself as you created me. It is not Christ that can be crucified. Safe in your arms, let me receive your Son. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Let me turn around here, and I'm right here on the edge of the water, so I don't think that you all can see, but right over here, maybe you can see it. If am I pointing it to the right thing? Actually, well, maybe you can't even see it. Oh yeah, it's that right there, that stump that's been pushed down there, right above it on the banks, there's a stone. That was the stone I put up for a little marker while I spread the ashes to St. Diane, Carolyn Diane Perkins. The Holy Christ is born in me today, and out of the High German, Frida. The Holy Christ is born in me today, and in you. Practice forgiveness. The Holy Christ is born in me today. Frida.